What's up, everybody? Okay, just left the gym. I just got out the gym. I'm at the gym right now. Just got out. It's got a great chest workout. In the afternoons, I can do pre-workout. In the mornings, I don't do pre-workouts. I gotta go to work and all this. But post-work workouts or weekend workouts, I can do some pre-workout and get even more gains. And I love it. All right, today's video is about the frontal lobe, actually. It is about the trauma response to the body, to the brain, and how to heal from it. It's a conversation I had with a guy at my job the other day. He's like a third-party member to where I work at. And we had to sit there for 10 minutes together with nothing to do. So we started just chatting things up. Talking about life, talking about all sorts of things, and it was mostly based around self-improvement. I guess this person is on a journey similar to mine. So naturally, the conversation flowed to this. And towards the end of the conversation, we started talking about different traumas and what it does to the brain and how to heal the brain itself from the effects of trauma. And that's what we're going to talk about today. First, I'm going to get some protein because I got to have some protein for these muscles. When you work out, the best time to get protein is within 20 minutes post-workout. Keep that in mind for the future. Anyway, I'm going to get some protein. I'm going to go to my girl's house, take a shower, and we're going to discuss some things that are, the brain stuff along the way. So I'll catch you on in a second. So anytime we go through any type of experience that we would find traumatizing, any traumatic experience, whether that's being mentally abused, physically abused, verbally abused, any type of abuse or experience like losing a loved one or anything that we find as traumatic, believe it or not, actually leaves residual damage to the frontal lobe of the brain. That is a section of the brain that is used for processing and dealing with long-term effects of trauma. This is something I learned from the Mel Robbins podcast. Great podcast. If you haven't checked her out, you need to check her out. It's a great podcast. She had I believe it was like a neuroscientist on that was talking about all this great stuff. So what we're going to talk about is what they talked about, which is how to heal that frontal lobe in the brain, how to work on healing the part of the brain that is responding to the trauma that you have experienced in your lifetime. So the first thing you need to do, the first thing that you need to put into practice in the long term is going out and being in nature. Not just standing in nature, though, not just planting feet, but actually walking around in nature. Something about being in nature and getting that your blood moving and your heart pounding while walking around actually works to heal that frontal lobe. Now, the next thing also takes place in nature, which is being around moving water. Why we're out here right now. See, we are around moving water, and that right there, visually seeing moving water in person, not on a screen, but actually seeing moving water in person also works to heal that frontal lobe in your brain. Both activities release some sort of like neurochemical that heals that section, the trauma response section of the brain. Oh, hello there. All right. Now, the third and final thing that works to heal the frontal lobe of the brain, the part of the brain that is used for processing long-term trauma, the final thing is, you're not going to like it, is cold exposure. Yes, I know, cold exposure. We all hate it. We all can't stand it. Trust me, I don't like it either, but it's important to do because it does work to heal this part of the brain that is, in charge of the trauma response. So let's discuss how to do cold exposure, how to ease yourself into it, right? I'm not one of those guys who are going to jump inside this freezing lake while it's 32 degrees out, okay? I'm not one of those guys. And I hope you're not either, because that's way too much when you first start out. Maybe for like a couple years into cold exposure, yeah, jump into freezing water. But right away, we need to ease our way into it, ease ourselves into cold exposure. So what I do is I get in my shower, especially after a workout, I take a nice hot steamy shower, and at the end of the shower, I'll turn it all the way to cold. So as cold as that water gets. Here's the thing. When you first get that cold water washing over you, your body's going to go into fight or flight mode. And 90% of the time it's going to flight mode. It's like, hey, let's get out of here. We got to go. We got to get out of this water. Your body's going to tell you this by making you hyperventilate. You're going to be going all freezing your tail off. But after a few moments, your body stops the flight response and you stop breathing so hard. You start being able to calm yourself down. And then it becomes more manageable. It's no longer the freezing cold water. It's now just, okay, it's cold water. And that's, once you pass that flight mode, that's when the chemical gets released in your brain that works to heal that section of the brain that we've been talking about this whole entire time. So let's recap a little bit. So we got seeing moving water, being near moving water. Then we got walking through the forest, walking through a mountaintop, walking through a jungle, not a concrete jungle, but an actual jungle. Not walking down the street, walking through the woods, seeing nature while moving. And then cold exposure. Those are three things that the scientists have actually proven help heal the trauma response sector of the brain that gets damaged from trauma itself. So anytime you feel like you can't handle your past, that's when you guys start realizing, okay, maybe I have damage right there that hasn't healed yet. Maybe I should go and work on these three things. In reality, you should take these three things and insert them into your weekly habits. And we've talked about habits before. We're going to talk about habits again. You should make these into your habits. Because at that point in time, that's when you actually actively heal and keep healing forever and ever. And that's what we're trying to do on this channel. We're trying to heal. We're trying to grow. We're trying to keep on going through everything we go through and keep growing, healing, moving forward. That's what I want for y'all. That's what I want for myself. That's what I want for everyone. That's why we discuss things like this topic where we heal. Now, let's give some bonus stuff on healing from trauma.
So we decided to go over to the stockyard real fast. Ran around this little maze. That was a lot of fun. We got to see a lot of cool stuff around the maze, inside the maze. Some of that cool stuff was this awesome train and all the cool shops around the train. The train, I don't know why, was even there. And I don't know why people kept standing in front of it when it was about to take off. I was not fixing to do that. As soon as it started
So
taking
the
off,
one bonus thing I
dipped off
got for you
into a
real
store.
fast
But it was a nice
is
train.
that
I plan on riding it
actual
one
physical
day.
exercise, like actually
Next,
pushing
we
weights,
gotta see
running, jogging, getting
cattle
moving,
job
actually
itself.
building muscle,
I tell you what,
bringing those down,
it ain't that
rebuilding it,
fancy,
actually hitting the
but it's just
gym.
cool seeing
All
this.
that releases the
And
happy
then,
chemical inside the
when
brain.
we got a closer look
Not
at
really
the
gonna help you with
cattle,
your,
we had to go through
healing the
this
part of the
little
brain for
weird
trauma,
old
but it's going to
gate.
help you with
Really
dealing with
cool
trauma in the
old
long run.
pipes to get up
It's
to the
actually
platform
getting some
to
gains
see
in
more
and
of the
hitting
cattle.
gym.
This is,
Now, these cows,
after they got them walk in
they
and
get
bring them
bricked
and put
up
them back up.
to be happy.
But it was just a fun little time, We actually went to a dance class down here before all this, and it was all a lot of fun.